News Central now continues with updates on the elections in South Africa. The leader of South Africa's radical leftist Economic Freedom Fighters Party, Julius Malema, says his party has achieved its mission of bringing the ruling ANC party below 50%. Malema, during a press conference in Midrand, however, suggested it is still willing to work with the ANC in a possible coalition.
But we are happy, we're the happiest because we have achieved our mission in our lifetime. And that mission was to bring the ANC below 50%. That's what we have always told you, that this animal is going to be eaten piece by piece. We want to work with the ANC. If there's any party that we can work with and work properly, is the ANC.
Meanwhile, South Africa's ruling ANC face a surge for allies to help it form a new government after it lost its 3-decade-old absolute majority in a watershed election. With 99% of the votes from Wednesday's election counted, President Cyril Ramaphosa's African National Congress had only 40%, a catastrophic slump from the 57.5 it won in 2019. This marks an historic turning point for South Africa, as the party has enjoyed an absolute majority since 1994, when liberation leader Nelson Mandela led the nation out of white minority rule and into democracy. The ANC must now either negotiate a coalition government or at least persuade other parties to back Ramaphosa's re-election in parliament to allow him to form a minority government reliant on other parties for support to pass budgets and legislation. KwaZulu-Natal regional spokesman of the African National Congress says the party has accepted the results of this week's elections. According to the results, the newly formed MK party of former President Jacob Zuma is in the lead in the province and so set to unseat the ruling ANC.
ANC has accepted the result, and as the ANC, what is foremost now in our mind are two things. One is the fact that there was a clear protest from our people. Our people are saying, we love the ANC, but the ANC must self-correct. We have already started that program of organizational renewal. I think we need to fast-track that. We must no longer only speak about acting against corruption. We must be seen as doing that. We must be seen as giving our people the service. That is the message that our...
Well, staying with the development in South Africa, we are now joined by a political analyst, Sisi Duma, and she joins us from Durban in South Africa. Thank you so much, Sisi, for joining us on the news.
Thank you for having me.
So for you, what factors would you say contributed to the newly formed MK party of former President Jacob Zuma gaining a lead in KwaZulu-Natal, and how has that got to do with the political landscape in the province in terms of impact?
Okay, so the formation of the MK is basically a breakaway from the ANC by members who were no longer happy with how the ANC was going about ruling the country and specifically the province. Now, one of the main issues that were arising was that the ANC was no longer catering to the basic needs of the people of the country and the people of the province. And another very, very huge issue was that Zulu speaking South Africans felt that the ANC was disrespecting the Zulu monarch. So all of these factors contributed to the move or to the migration to the MK party.
So having said that now, how is the ANC strategizing to address, how do you expect it to strategize to address the significant loss of support in KwaZulu-Natal and probably the potential need for a coalition to form a government?
It's a very difficult beast to slaughter, this one, because most of the votes that went to the MK were from ANC members. They're not sure who the members are that voted for the MK, so it's very difficult to discipline them. It's very difficult to isolate the party because their members are there as well. So they have two options. They can either decide to completely forget about the members that have left and have joined the MK and form coalitions elsewhere, with the IFP and the DA, for example, or they can go back to the drawing board and go to those MK members and ask them, how do we fix this? What can we do to bring you guys back?
But there have been questions as to how they will be able to synergize in terms of the different ideologies that they have. So for you, what do you think are the key differences in the policies and ideologies between these other parties, most especially the MK party and the ANC, and how might these differences influence the political dynamics going forward?
Okay, so this would be the first time that our country has a coalition on national level and a coalition on a provincial level. We've had coalition on local government level, and it has not worked out because of the very same issues that you're currently addressing now about differing ideologies. I think MK and the ANC are similar because, like I said, they come from the same mother. But the biggest difference is that the MK is speaking against the constitution, which is what the ANC is standing on. So the MK wants that relooked and scrapped, and they wanted to focus more on the natives of South Africa, whereas the ANC says, no, everybody in South Africa must be a priority. So I think that's a big gap there. And then there's another huge gaping gap between the ANC and the DA, who's a potential coalition partner. It's the Palestine versus Israel war, where ANC is very pro-Palestine, whereas the DA is pro-Israel, which is something they're both not willing to compromise on. So that's also something that might become a factor when these coalition talks begin.
So where do we place the EFF now? Because they have come out to say, Julius Malema has come out to say that they are willing to partner with ANC. So if the DA and the ANC partnership does not work, and we have an ANC and other parties not work, maybe EFF could work with the ANC.
Am I still here? Right now, the EFF really suffered a huge blow with the emergence of the MK because most of its members actually went there. So they're at a very crucial position here where the longevity of their party relies on what they do next. And as we've heard, Julius Malema has decided to take a stance to partner with the ANC. Now, I can tell you from the get-go that this has been met with divisiveness between the members of the party. Some are happy that he's taken the stance, while others feel like it's a betrayal because he initially formed the party to remove the ANC from government. But right now, he's using his 9% to save the ANC, essentially. So some members do feel a betrayal.
Okay, Sisi Duma, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us. Thank you so much for talking to us and helping us understand this better.
Thank you for having me.